Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about spam and how to deal with the spam using a Gmail and the scripts that Google allows you to run. And the problem that I faced after I graduated the coding bootcamp is that I'm receiving a huge amount of spam emails. And when I was applying for different jobs, I had to fill out different forms and applications online. And after I found a job, it was really hard to stop receiving all those different emails from the companies that are uh, looking for engineers. And so just to quickly show you, I have my email, which has more than 11,000 emails right now. And as you can see, there's a lot of emails coming from different HR companies. And yeah, you may say you can actually go and unsubscribe, which I did for some of them, but some of them won't stop sending you those emails, and some of them are already spam companies already have your email in their database, so it's not that easy to unsubscribe. And then so to beat the spam emails, which sometimes I got like over 20 emails per day, I thought I can just go and set up a filter so that certain emails will got into native Google spam folder, and that could solve the problem, and that can solve the problem in some cases. But what I wanted is I wanted some sort of way that I could still see the emails in my inbox, and then if some of the emails are marked as a spam wrong and incorrect, and let's say some email is not a spam, so that I would have option to stop it from being removed from the email, and sort of have a glance on the spam that's coming, and in the same way see that these emails are already marked as a spam, and then they will be removed in a day or two from my inbox. And to accomplish this task, I actually wrote a script that allows you to do that. And the script has some features which I will briefly introduce you, and maybe this will help somebody else who has the same problem with huge amount of emails coming into their Gmail inbox. And so to start with introducing the script, I created the temporary Google Mail, and as you can see here, it's not a lot of emails here. So we're gonna play with this email account to show you how you can use the script to stop uh, spam that's keep coming maybe in your email. And first of all, we're gonna head to the GitHub to the SpamFan page, where you can find the script itself and a short description how to use it. First, we're gonna need to download the script itself, and we're gonna download the zip file. Now, once you downloaded the file, downloaded the repository with the script, you want to go to version 1.0.0 at the time when I'm filming this. I'm not sure if this will go up because I don't have much time to support this application, so we'll see. But for now, it's just version 1.0.0, and inside you can see the JavaScript spamfan.js, which you will need to open with the notepad. You can use a regular Windows notepad. I actually prefer using Notepad++, which is free for use on a Windows machine. And so if you open the file with the Node++, you can kind of see the syntax highlight and all other features, but what we need to do here is we want to copy everything. So we're gonna press Control A to select everything, or you can probably do the same with Edit Select All. And then what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to copy this. So we'll do a copy. So the next thing what you want to do is you want to first log in into a Google account on the browser that you want install this script, and then I left the link here to script.google.com portal. And so when you go to that portal, you can see that you have no projects. Well, maybe you have projects, I don't know, but for most people probably there will be no projects here. Now you create new project, and you want to name it. Well, I would suggest naming it Spam Fan, but you can name it whatever, it doesn't really matter in this case. And then what next we want to do is we want to delete whatever function it gives us as a default. We're going to delete this function, and then we're going to insert remember the script that we copied over from the editor. So we're going to paste. You can paste with the Control V. So you hit Control and then V, and as you can see, we inserted the code from that file, and now we just want to save it real quick. Save. Okay, it's saved now. And now what you want to do is you want to select main function over here. So you can select main, and then what you need to do is you want to run it once in the beginning. So I select main function over here after I saved the file, and I press run. And you can see that Google prompts me for authorization, and we need this for the script to work properly. So the script has permissions and it can access your email. So we're going to review the permissions, and we're going to select the account. It says app isn't verified because I didn't deploy it and publish it as a separate extension. But if someone watching this wants to do that, I'm happy with that. You can do that, but I don't have enough time to do all the steps for publishing it. So I'll just click advanced, and I'll go to Spam Fan, and I will grant the rights to, you can see the rights that it needs, and I will allow it to the script. And after that, you can see that the main function actually finished execution, and in your email you can see the first email that comes from the script with a brief description how to use this. And what's more important is that this introductory email has the JSON file, which will be the configuration for our script. So after you do this, you can download the file, and then you can see it's called a SpamFan config sample JSON. Now, using the same Notepad++, which I definitely recommend, for doing stuff like this, we're gonna open the file. I'm gonna close this initial script here, and then I will drag the JSON file in here. Now, here you can see there are different keys and values, and I will briefly talk about them. So the spam config key, it basically means that this is the configuration file for the script, not just some random JSON file. Now, these days to keep emails in inbox is set to 2. This is the interval that you want spam emails to be in your inbox. So in my case, 2 days is like perfect. Maybe 3 days is okay too. It means basically that the script will mark your spam emails and it will keep them for 2 days after moving them out of your inbox. Now, this is days to keep spam fan logs. This script can send you a log, what it's doing and how many emails it's sorted, how many emails it's skipped, and that kind of stuff. So I would recommend using the logs in the beginning, but then after you set up the script, I would recommend to disable the log with this key. This basically means send log set to true. Once you set up the configuration and the script works fine, I would recommend disabling this, because it usually sends you 4 logs per 24 hours, which is recommended setting to run this once 4 times a day, basically. So this basically says how many days you want to keep the logs before they will be deleted. Now this obviously says ignore read emails, which means that if you open the email in your inbox, we're gonna ignore it. Now this skip thread with emails more than 3. So as you noticed, probably most of the emails that you're receiving are one email, but sometimes you can see there's like number 2 somewhere here, which means that there's more than one email. It's kind of like a thread. So Google will organize your emails in a threads, and each thread would have one or more email. So this setting means that if email has more than 3, if thread has more than 3 emails, then we're gonna skip it, because probably there's some conversation going on and we don't want to even look and spend resources looking into that. The next thing is separate flagged emails with attachments. So if you want separate flagged emails with attachments, you can set it to true. This basically means that if you are receiving spam, and like for example all these spam emails don't have any attachments, but if there were some spam emails that have attachments, then you can separate them into a separate label, just to save space. Maybe there are some attachments that you want to look at later, or I don't know, just if you want that, you can set it to true. It's set to true by default, and then it's set to flagged emails with attachments label will be named spam with files, which means that if the script detects spam email and that spam email has the attachment, it will move it to a separate label, which in this case will be spam with files. Another thing is allow emails from my address book set to true. It's basically for detecting spam emails. If script can see that email, the source email, which you defined in your rules, you have that email in your address book, we will not flag this as a spam, because probably it's something important that someone from your address book sent to you. This is scan spam folder for global exclusions, and this basically setting that scans your Google spam folder for exclusions. There's a section here which named global exclude, and what this thing does is you can set the global exclusions to override your rules that you can set down here to avoid false positive detection. So like in this sample, you can see that all emails that are coming from .gov domain name, and all the emails that have subject bill, invoice, or notice, or also emails that in the body have bill, invoice, payment, amount due, late fee, and that sort of stuff, are in global exclude with me, which means basically even if script detects them as a spam email based on your setting, and it will find one of these inside the email, it will exclude the email and it will not be marked as a spam email. Also use global exclude. It basically means if you want to use global exclude or not. By default it's set to true. You can set it to false, and then there will be no check against the global exclusion. And also this last setting is the send log set to true, which means that the spam fan will send you the log of what it's doing. And once, as I said before, once you finish configuring everything and everything works fine as you expected, I would definitely recommend to flip this to false. Now, if you're moving to these labels, the structure and the logic basically goes like this. You can see here is a section with the labels, and what you do here is you will define the label, and then inside the label, so this is your like a label name, and this is the object that belongs to this label name. You will define the rules for detection. So you can see there's three main sections here. There's the detect sender, exclude sender. This is the first section. The second section is detect subject and exclude subject. And the third section is detect body and exclude body. So all these three main sections, they all correspond to email parts. The sender means we checking, and by the way, all the logic that checks this conditions is just basically comparing strings. It's a really simple way, and this algorithm is not that sophisticated. All it's doing is it's matching different strings against the data. So for example, in this example, if we are tired of marketing that's coming from somedomain.com, we can put detect sender as that a specific email address, or we can even omit this part and just keep the domain name like this, another spam domain. And what happens is that if our script detects the domain name or email, it will label this as add spam. Also, each label and each rule here has exclude sender, which allows you to set the exclusion. So maybe you want to mark as a spam everything that's coming from marketing, but let's say you don't want to mark spam as a spam the emails that are coming from support. So then you can exclude sender, and if it happens to be a support, it will not mark this as add spam email. The same logic applies to detect subject, but in this case we're examining the subject line. And then just an example, you can see this as seen on TV or like a free vacation. So if we match the string here with the subject line of the email, the rule will apply this label. Now also subject has exclude subject array of strings, which allows you to override this and exclude this. And also for subject line detection and for body line detection, you can see here is the subject match rules. And currently there are two rules that I wrote for myself, which I found useful, is respect case and respect spaces. And what it means is that if we set this rule and we set respect case, it means that the script will try to find exact match respecting the case. So if spam email would have application with the lower a, it will not trigger the rule. It will only try to find exact match respecting the case, and the same goes for this one. And this is the first rule. Then the second rule is the respect spaces, and what this rule does is it allows you to set rules with the spaces trailing or preceding. So if I do that and I have this rule, it's basically gonna try to find the match with this space before, and if there will be the same exact follow-up phrase in a subject line, but it won't have this space in front, it will not match this. And if you don't specify respect spaces rule, then it's gonna trim the string for you. So even if you save this and remove this guy, then this basically will be trimmed to just follow up. But to avoid that, you can select and include respect spaces rule. And now the last here is detect body. And as you probably already guessed, it tries to match the text in the email body. And you can also see there's exclude body and again body match rules, which work exactly the same way as in here. Now, after you may add as many labels as you want. Like in this example, we have 2 labels, and you can basically copy the structure of this label, and you can do your own stuff, your own detection rules. And one more important thing to remember is that the flow that analyzes the emails will go from top to bottom, which means that it first will check this label, and then if no match is found, it will move to this label, and then to the third label, and so on. So when you're creating a rules, make sure you put more specific rules on the top, because if match was found in this label, it will never reach this label or third label or fourth or whatever. So yeah, make sure you understand the logic, and more specific rules on the top, more broad rules on the bottom. Now let me show you how this thing may actually work, and then for this specific scenario, we're just gonna keep this empty, and then we're gonna detect the subject, and the subject we're gonna have this annoying COVID-19 virus stuff, which keeps coming with different sort of spam emails advertising tests and some products on Chinese market and stuff like that that I'm receiving currently. Now we're gonna exclude. We're not gonna exclude any subjects. We're just gonna mark it as a virus spam, I would say. Just an example. This is gonna be virus spam. And now we're going to put the rule respect case in this example, which means that, yeah, we have that already in place. So it means that if the COVID-19 will be spelled in lowercase in the email, it will not match this. And then we'll keep the detect body empty, but then we're going to exclude the body, and we're gonna say that if we find pay the bill phrase in the body, then we should not mark this as a spam, because maybe it's a bill for the test, you know, something like that. And then we're gonna remove the respect case so that it will match pay the bill with any case written, lowercase, uppercase, if doesn't matter in this example. And we basically can delete this label for now, or maybe let me add something here as well, just to show there's gonna be some other spam. And then let's even name it like HR spam, like as an HR spam. And what we're gonna make this is we're gonna detect subject, and then we're gonna put here position. So if we see the email that has the position in the subject, this will be the HR spam. Okay, yeah, I think this is it for initial configuration, just to show how this thing works. And then we're gonna keep this global exclude thing. It's probably not going to affect any of the detection for our small test. So what you do now is then you save the file. I already saved it, but you save the file, and then what you do is you go to your email, and then you're going to write the email to yourself. And now, important two important things about the configuration file is that you want to put the number in your subject line, and the higher number you put, that configuration file will be loaded. So we're going to start with 1, and the reason why we're doing this is that once you start playing around with the configuration, you will find that you want to tweak it in a way, add this, add that, and then you will quickly end up with multiple configuration files. And in order to keep your previous versions of it, you can still keep them in your inbox, but all you need to do is to change the number. So if you change the configuration and you want to update it, you just put like 2 here, and then 3, and then 4, and so on. So the script will always pick up the latest version, or the biggest number, I would say, you put in the subject. So for now, we're gonna attach the spam fan config sample to the email, and you don't really need to write anything. All you need is to specify your email, and then the number, the version of the configuration, and the file itself. Now once you send it to yourself, the second important step here is you need to attach the label. And as you can see, I have a label spam fan created, and this label got automatically created when you run the script first time. So all I need to do is I need to attach the label spam fan to this email, and now what happens is that the script will pick this configuration, and the way it knows that this is the configuration is by looking at the label that you attached to the email. Now let's send a few emails to test. So we're gonna send the to the testing account here, and then what we're gonna put here is the first, we're gonna put this COVID-19, and then there will be some text here. This will be the first email, and if you remember, we have the rule that should detect this COVID-19 in a subject. So we're gonna send this first email. All right, let's check that we received it. Okay, we got that first email. Now we're gonna send similar email, but in this case, we're gonna put that phrase. So we're gonna have some text here, but also we're gonna say pay the bill. And then if you remember, we should not mark this as a spam email because it consists this pay the bill phrase that we have the rule set up. Now we're gonna send this as well. Yeah, this thing always makes sure I'm not a spammer, and it asks me if I'm a human or not, because you may write a script that will use this service to send multiple emails. Okay, we got the second email, and then let's see, another rule that we have is the position. So let's send another 2 emails. One will have a position in a subject line, which definitely should be considered the HR spam. But another one we're gonna send, and we're gonna put the body. We're gonna put like a late fee here. So just to show you how global exclude works. And okay, so we are composing another email. We're gonna put position, and then we're gonna put some text here. and then we're gonna send this guy. And let's check if we receive. Okay, we got that email. And then the last email we're gonna send is we're gonna keep position available. I'm not sure if I spelled this correctly, but sorry, English is not my native language. And then we're gonna put what was the exception? I think it's a late fee. I even like copied from here. And then we're gonna say some text here, and then we're gonna say avoid late fee, and we're gonna send that again. And then the fourth time I have to prove that I'm not a robo. Alright, now we have all 4 emails, and now let's run the script in our Google script site to see how this will work and how this should now detect 2 of these emails. If you remember, 2 of them should be detected and 2 of them should not be detected because one has the exception on label level, pay the bill, and then the second email should be excluded by using global exclude, which has the late fee in the body. Now let's see if this actually will do the job. I'm keeping a main function here, and let's manually execute the script again. You can see the main function is still running. Yeah, and it will run about 2-3 minutes probably, but we can in the same time go back and see that some of the emails and I had to pause the recording just to send another email where we have a position spelled correctly, because I noticed that I have a spelling error over here. So you can see that some of the emails that we expect to be marked, they are marked with this, and this is not marked because pay the bill is inside the email, and now this is marked and this is not marked because there's a void late fee in the body of the email. Now once the execution finishes, it will move the spam fan log under the spam fan label. Let's see, still running. Yeah, it takes about 2-3 minutes usually, but we can start examining the log because the last operation that it's waiting is to move the spam fan log into the spam fan. So we won't break anything. We're just gonna go ahead and open the spam fan log, and you can see that there's total retrieved threads from inbox is 9, clean no matches 4, total label 2, and total skip 3, and you can see that it breaks down the statistics and it says thread was excluded by global exclusions, in this case 2. Yeah, actually we can even see the detailed log of the operation, which show you where it was excluded, why it was excluded, and more detailed information about the operation. And you can see that the app is finished working, and now the spam fan transferred the spamfan log into the spamfan folder, and that's how this script works. So you can see some of the emails were labeled, and they are in according labels. And in the settings over here, you can set yeah, this one is a little bit outdated configuration, which I will update after the video, but there is an option here that will allow you to set if you want the marked emails to be deleted or you want them to be archived. And then basically when you delete stuff, it comes to your trash can, and when you archive stuff, it will basically release all the labels from the emails, and it will be moved to your like global inbox. But on the practice, you won't see them anywhere, but you still will be able to search them. You can read about that in the Google Help Docs, which what is the difference between archiving email and deleting email. But basically, in the latest version of the script, you can define in a label if you want to delete email or if you want to archive email that is marked with um, a certain label. Now the last part that is left to do is to set execution of the script to be executed 4 times per day. And to do that, you just go to your projects. Yeah, you can see the triggers over here on the left side, and then you want to create a new trigger that will run the script. I would recommend 4 times a day. You can do once, twice, whatever works for you. Now yeah, to add the trigger, now this actually opens a new project. Probably you want to go to current projects triggers over here, and yeah, on this screen there's a button here, add trigger. Google still shows you this as an untitled project, even though it's titled. It will probably update it to whatever you named it after a while. But we know that this is the project that we want to assign the trigger, because we went here to the project and we click here inside this project. So now we're just going to add the trigger, and then we're going to need to choose the function to run, and in this case we're going to set the main function. Now this, just keep it the way it is with the deployment, and we're going to set this to time driven, and here we're going to set this hour timer, and then we're going to set this to every 6 hours. So in 4 times per day, every 6 hours, this will work. Run and sort your inbox. Yeah, you can set this failure notification settings. If something goes wrong and the script fails, it will send you the notification, so you can go and check what went wrong and what needs to be fixed. Now after you hit save, it will create the time-based trigger, and basically at this point you will set every 6 hours the script will run. Check the rules that you set to this file, and it will mark them for you, and then it will start moving them out of your inbox depending on the setting that you set here. Days to keep no, I'm sorry, this days to keep emails in inbox. So after 2 days it will archive these emails, and As I said, I will update the sample configuration file after I finish recording this video, where you can actually specify over here what do you want to do with the emails marked with a certain label, if you want to delete them or you want to archive them. And the only disadvantage having the spam fan sending you the logs that I talked before is that with the time you're going to have a lot of spam logs here collected. And the problem is that when you go to your sent emails, you will see, like in this example, spam fan log, and it will like clutter your sent emails, because basically you're sending email to yourself. So after you tuned up and set up your spam fan rules, just go to a config file once you have all your labels here, and disable this to false, and it will stop sending you the logs, not to clutter your sent folder. Also, you will still be able to see the logs. If you're interested, you can just go to your executions here, and you can definitely see the logs under Google Apps script portal in case something went wrong, or you don't know why this email was flagged or not flagged. Even though with disabled logs, you can still go to Google executions page and see what actually was done and why certain email or thread was marked or not marked. And this is it from me. I hope you'll find a use for this script. And yeah, if you want, you can enhance it, extend it, do whatever you want. You can find the script on a GitHub, and I'll post the link under this video. And let's clean up the inbox together. Thank you for watching.